unless we have a very resounding medical opinion about the Covishield, we must not jump to conclusion. Number two, how can BJP as a party be blamed for this? Number three is, as it is coming from UK, it is no big surprise. This is definitely a wrong misinformation being spread, and I don't think anybody, any politician is, qualified enough to speak on the vaccine. We need expert medical opinion on this.
Absolutely.
Politicizing this is nothing but spreading panic, and bringing discredit.
Oh, that's very interesting. Our first viewer, Prakash, calling us from Chennai, telling us, don't spread, don't fearmonger. It is important that we get a medical opinion on this. One more question from one of our viewers, and then I'll go across to the doctors. We have Chittaranjan, who's calling us from Pune. Go ahead, Chittaranjan.
Hello, doctor.
Yes, go ahead. They can both hear you. What's your question?
I took my first shot on the 6th of March 21, and I got few rashes, which I showed it to doctor. They said, no, it will go with the time. And yes, it did disappear after about 2 weeks. Second shot I took on the 19th April. And with that, my whole body, I got rashes all over my body, big rashes. And I had a tough time, and that took me nearly about 8 months, 10 months for it to practically wear out. Then the third, I took, I don't know why, but I took the precautionary dose on the 20th January 22. And after that, there was no looking back. Till today, I'm suffering from that.
And which vaccine was this, Mr. Chittaranjan?
The Covaxin. This was what you call...
Covishield, or was it Covaxin?
Covishield.
Okay.
Covishield, yeah.
So
then I called the Serum Institute.
Okay.
And I spoke to, I don't remember the name, I spoke to somebody there. They put me on to somebody. He said, no, it can't be, because within half an hour, 45 minutes, you should get the rashes. If we come later on, we have nothing to do with it.
Okay.
That's the answer I got from Serum Institute. Any case, I thought I was recovering, and I wanted to see my grandchildren. I traveled to Dublin. The moment I reached, my whole body again, within 2 days, got covered with the rashes. I was hospitalized for 5 days, and I got that report from them. And they said this is something very unusual. They had not seen something like that. They did all the tests. And then they put me on the drip, and they gave me some creams to put on, etc., etc. And I came back, cut short, and I came back to the country. So after that, it has been going and coming, just like hives.
So it's still continuing with you? Is that the question you want to ask?
I still have these on my body.
Okay.
And they are red. I've been putting a lot of creams night, after bath, morning, evening. And the moment I get a little heat, or anything that's a little warm, or I eat a spicy food, immediately they become red. And
let me put that question across to Dr. Ishwar Gilada. That is one of the problems, isn't it, Doctor? The fact that people are uncertain as to what is causing what. But do we need a thorough probe into it? Because this is, after all, the first time that AstraZeneca has gone on record to say, yes, indeed, there are side effects.
Thank you very much for having me on the show. Almost 90% people in India who took vaccine, they took Covishield. So 9 out of 10 people have taken Covishield. Secondly, the no vaccine had without any side effects. Some side effects were there, everybody got some or the other adverse side effect. But they were small enough, they were mild enough. Some very few people got severe side effects. Now, if severe side effects are there, for example, this clotting disorder, this can be there in COVID itself. This can be in long COVID. This can be with COVID vaccine. So it is very difficult for even medical community, leave apart the legal community, to establish whether it is from A, B or C. Thirdly, it is so rare. It is almost 1 in 50,000 to 1 in 1 lakh. So it's the 0.002% to 0.001%. So in that sense, everybody need not panic.
Okay.
Things have gone ahead. Now, the second issue is, at that time, we had a very bad Delta wave, when people were dying in numbers, and everybody, every family had at least 1 or 2 people who were sick. During that time, whether you take vaccine or wait for death, that was the situation. So people had taken vaccine, nothing wrong. Vaccines were given by government, nothing wrong. Vaccines were marketed by company, nothing wrong. Because at that time there was nothing available. So we need to decide what is whether saving people is more important or few people getting some adverse effect is more important. And we have to outweigh between each other. And that time benefits were outweighed against the adverse effect. So now it is now elaborately saying some people have got vaccine, some people got problem, people have gone into court, they are seeking. Yes, they must, if they can establish that they got something from the vaccine, they must. But what has happened during emergency use authorization, when it was issued, it was phase 2 trial. In phase 3 was not done. Phase 4, which is a post-marketing analysis, was not done. And secondly, the entire onus was put on respective governments. The companies were said, no, we are giving you and helping you because we are not going to make money. We want to help humanity. So onus is on government to compensate if something happens. And that's what contract has been signed with almost all the government, including UK government. And UK government decided to give 150,000 pound if there is a death or 60% disability, but that is not enough to carry on the life of dependents or the person. And therefore, people have gone in for higher compensation.
Well, Dr. Gilada, you've made a very important point that look at the time when this vaccine was being administered. At that time, the pros were much higher than the cons. That you could take this risk and look at the benefits of what we got. We actually got to save lives, is what Dr. Ishwar Gilada has said. Let me quickly go across to two of our other viewers. Gopal calling us from Varanasi. Go ahead, Gopal.
Actually, I'm calling from Varanasi. I'm the opinion that all medicines, whether it is vaccine or even anything, will be having a small kind of side effects. But at the same time, the Corona time was an emergency. At that time, to save the life is more important.
Absolutely.
We have given 100 crore people 2 times, almost 200 doses have been given in India. And there is no such major any complaint has come from anybody. So blaming Modi ji and all is completely nonsense. Yeah, this is.
So that's good. So you have another caller calling in and saying, don't politicize this issue. A quick word, Krishna Dutt is also calling us, a viewer from Hyderabad. Krishna Dutt.
Yeah, hello. I want to make 3 points. Number one, there's no point in bringing politicians into half-baked knowledge people onto the news hours and debating them. They have no this thing. As the previous caller said, politicizing and holding somebody responsible without any proper statistics and peer-reviewed journal listing is waste of time. Second, now having gone through this most dangerous phase of the things, now just talking to pulmonologists and practicing doctors alone will not be sufficient unless they come with a peer-reviewed journal reporting. Third, the original formulation and the inventors of the formulation, that is, let's call them as pharmacists, from AstraZeneca, from Covishield in Indian condition, they should now disclose their view of the statistics of administering this, having collected crores of data. What do they stand? Even Pfizer is having the same problem. There is no new thing in this. Every vaccine will have some side effects.
So it's not just one vaccine, a broad-based study perhaps of all the vaccines now should be looked into it. But